Eccoci, anche questa sera siamo in diretta. Ciao a tutti e benvenuti a una nuova live di 7 giorni senza codice. La diretta di stasera è un po' diversa perché insieme a noi c'è Thibaut di Weglot. Thibaut non parla in italiano, quindi la live sarà tutta in inglese. Spero che non sia un problema per nessuno, perciò io switcho subito all'altra lingua. Hi there, Thibaut. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. And yeah, I'm sorry that I don't speak Italian, but I didn't learn it at school, but I hope
It's fine.
it will be fun with English.
Yeah, it's fine. So it's a pleasure to have you with this concept. As you know, we're doing like 7 days of live streams, and this year we wanted to have some important people and important like brands. So of course, Weglot had to be one of them. So thank you for being here.
You're very welcome and very happy to be here with you guys today to chat about Ncode.
Great. So let's just start by telling us who you are and what is Weglot.
Yeah, sure. So as you said, my name is Thibaut. I'm in charge of all the relationships and partnerships with agencies and freelancers at Weglot. And for those that don't know Weglot, so this is basically a website translation solution. So kind of an app that you just have to plug on a website, and that will generate all the translation, and then you will be able to manage them and display them on your website in a live way. So yeah, basically that's what we do. And so Weglot is a tool that is compatible with all kind of no-code tool like Webflow, software, Bubble, all these kind of technologies, but also with like more code and other solution like WordPress, Shopify, BigCommerce, Squarespace, and every kind of these kind of technologies.
Okay, cool. So basically, you make it easier for users to have multilingual websites.
Exactly. Even if you don't speak, even if I don't speak Italian, for example, I can translate my website into Italian.
Yeah, that's super cool. I had the chance to use Weglot a few times, and I have to say it's very impressive. It's just like it's really plug and play. I had my website in Webflow. I took it. I said, okay, I need to. I followed the instructions on Weglot, and like in no time, I had like another page translated in English, and the button was already implemented. So it was just like very quick.
Yeah, thank you very much for the feedback. Actually, that's our goal to be able to to allow everyone actually to have a multilingual website, even if they don't have the resources like to develop a whole like a multilingual website, or even if they don't speak the language that they want to add on their website. So yeah, the goal is to have something quick, but also something relevant and useful. So yeah, thank you very much for the great feedback.
That's cool. That's cool. So the Weglot is a French company, right?
Exactly.
Cool. And how many people are you there?
Yeah, so we are about 40 people based in Paris. We have actually users all around the world, but yeah, the whole team is based in Paris. We are not all French. We don't have any Italian, I guess, in the team, but yeah, this is like a multilingual company actually, because we have people coming from everywhere.
Wow, that's quite some people. So basically, me and you, we met at the No Code Summit there in Paris, and it was a great event. But also, you went to the No Code to the Webflow conference last
Yeah,
week.
Exactly. Yeah, so yeah, basically I went back to Paris like on Monday, so maybe I seem a bit tired, but I'm good. Yeah, so it was a super nice experience. I don't know if you had a look at like the live session and everything, but we had a booth there, which was actually not a booth because it was kind of an escape room directly on the exhibition, on the topic of the magic of the translation. So we had also a magician with us to make some tricks to the people there. But yeah, it was super interesting to meet with all the Webflow community. We had some great chat with like people from all around the world with great Webflow project, and it was also super nice to meet the Webflow team as well there in San Francisco. But yeah, so it was super nice to be there.
Yeah, I can imagine. Maybe next year I will join you. It must be super cool.
I hope so.
Yeah. So let's get into the topic. So tonight, what we were gonna discuss is, of course, like best practices on how to build a multilingual website with no code. So it's like all yours. So just tell us how is it? How does it work?
Yeah, sure. So I will just share with you my screen.
There you go.
Yeah, so thank you very much for letting me present this topic for the Sette giorni senza codice. That's actually the only sentence I learned
It
in
sounds
Italian.
perfect.
Thanks. So yeah, I wanted to give you more clues on like what are the best practice to build a multilingual website with no code. So yeah, as I told you before, I'm in charge of all the relationship with agencies and freelancers. So I know like what are your needs as no code developer for your different projects. But yeah, I will tell you more on like the different ways to make a website multilingual with no code actually. I will also present to you the challenges you have to think about and to tackle while working on this kind of project. Because you can do it like without thinking about some very important elements. And I will then tell you what's the easiest way and no code way to make it happen, to have a multilingual website. And then if you want to, we can go to a Q&A part. If you have some question, I will be happy to reply to them. So yeah, starting with the first element that I wanted to present to you today. So the different ways you can make a website multilingual. So basically, the first one will be to duplicate pages. So that's pretty easy to do. Like for example, it just means on your admin, you will create different pages for the different languages. So that's pretty easy to do and easy to understand for everyone working on a website. Not important the technology that you are using. It will be still very easy to do. And you have to do everything on the same admin without going from an app to another, to a project to one another, or whatever. You can do everything on the same, for example, Webflow project or other projects. But you still have some cons to it, like some drawbacks. So basically, on the user experience, it can be bad as it won't be very easy to understand for the user what is the structure of the website with the different languages. So this is one of the drawback. Then, as you can imagine, this is a super time-consuming way to work, as you will have to create all the pages in all the different languages. And if you want to change something, for example, in the homepage, just even I don't know, just a subtitle, for example, you will have to do it like for each languages. So that's manageable if you have 2 languages, but if you have 10, that's quite a nightmare. And this is actually bad for SEO because it will be considered by Google as duplicate content. Even if this is not the same language, the content will still remain the same. So it's very bad for multilingual SEO performances. Then the second way that you, I guess, all know is if you are using Chrome, the Google Translate search bar button that you can have on all the websites that are not in your language. So compared to the first option, that's actually a pretty easy to way to do for the user. Like everyone know how to use it, and you don't have as a company or as an agency work to do on it in order to like develop this kind of feature on your website. But I get that you also know that Google Translate is not the best quality of translation, quality of content. And also one very important aspect is that you don't have, as an owner of the website, you don't have the control over the content that is displayed on your website. So it can be very tricky if you are working in a very specific industry, and it can be if the translation it can appear as funny or even bad on other translations. So this is not actually a good option if you want to have control on the content. And compared also to the first point, it's not that it is bad for SEO, but it's actually that you don't have multilingual SEO benefits, as the content won't be on the code. So this was for the option 2. Option 3, so is to have multiple sites, meaning, for example, you have a website, for example, for the Italian audience, like my website.it, another for the Spanish version, like my website.es, and so on and so on. So it's it can be interesting, as you will be able to do some localization. I will explain it a bit later, but yeah, actually you will have a highly possibilities of customization over the different website for the different languages. So it is something interesting, but as I mentioned before, this is as well a very time-consuming way to work, as you will have to maintain different websites with different content. If you are working as well for example, on an e-store, you will have to maintain like all the stock that you have on the website. So yeah, that can be a bit of a nightmare. And because there is no like synchronization between the different websites, the different language websites. And something also very important not to forget is that you will have to you will need a translator, actually. So rather someone in your team being able to translate the website in the language that you want, but or also like working with a professional translator, but you still have to find someone. And then the fourth way to translate the website that I wanted to mention today is to use a third app. So it's like the benefits is that it's very quick to add on a website. Actually, you don't need to code anything to make the website multilingual, and there is a whole like automation allowed by it. For example, the add of a lingue switcher, the multilingual SEO structure that you benefit, the fact that you can also benefit from the machine translation. So yeah, that's really interesting to use. And yeah, the only drawback that I can see is that you have to learn a new tool beside, for example, your mastering of Webflow or Bubble or whatever. You'll have to learn a new tool, a new app to use. So yeah, that can be a drawback. But yeah, these are the 4 ways to make a multilingual website without using code, because actually you can do it by coding, but I guess if you are here today, that's not what you are looking for. But yeah, these are the 4 ways. And I mentioned previously that you have some challenge to think about before developing and managing a multilingual website that are very important to think about, even with a client before, like at the very beginning, at the very early stage of your multilingual project. So the 3, the element that I wanted to mention today is the translation versus localization. I mentioned it before. Maybe some of you know the difference, but I will remind you. So yeah, translation is the process of rendering text from one language into another language, so that the meaning is equivalent. So kind of a copy of the same website. Compared to localization, which is a much more comprehensive process and address cultural and non-textual components, as well as linguistic issues when adapting a product or service for another country or local. So in the context of a website, it means that you will have, for example, a completely different design of a website for the Italian audience compared to the Finnish audience, for example, or whatever. For example, if I run an e-commerce store, it means that, for example, on the website for Italian, you will show, I don't know, like red sneakers, compared to the Spanish website, you will show like black heels or whatever. So yeah, you have to think about if rather you need a copy of your website in different languages, or if you want a completely different user experience on the different websites for the different audiences. So it is something you have to think about with your customer if you are an agency or a freelancer. Then there is also the comparison between, and this is the second point, between AI, so meaning machine translation, but also manual edited translation and also professional translations. So basically, the first one, the AI is just like you will rely on machine learning, on machine translation, to automate all the translation of your website. The manual translation is that you will rather in-house or with someone external, you will work on all the content, and you will manually edit it in order to have a multilingual website. The third option is to work with professional translators. So they can be like professional agencies or freelancers or whatever, but you will still have to hire someone to work on your project. And that can be something interesting if you're working in a very specific industry, for example, in the science or whatever. That can be interesting to work with a professional translator. And so yeah, actually you have to do the choice between these three, or you can rather do a combination. What we suggest essentially to our user is to as you maybe know, like you will do 80% of your traffic or your conversion on just 20%, thanks to 20% of your website. So what we suggest is to rely on the automatic translation for most of the website, but to manually edit just these 20% that are very important for your website in a manual way, rather with pro translators or in-house with just you working on it. And yeah, for example, the 20% of the website that you will need to translate are, for example, the homepage, contact page, and the 3 bestsellers that you have on your website, or the 3 main blog posts, or this kind of, or 3 main services, for example. So yeah, you have to think about what kind of quality of translation you want to have on the website. And then something very important is the multilingual SEO, which is not quite the same as the regular SEO that you maybe all know. And this is very important, and this is crucial actually to be able to be visible in different versions of Google or other technologies. So you have to think about how you will structure your website for multilingual SEO. And that leads me to the other part of my presentation, which is the easiest and no-code way to make it happen, to have a multilingual website. So without any surprise, the best way is to use Weglot. But I won't just be salesy like this. I will tell you why it's our tool is relevant for to make a multilingual website with no code. So as I mentioned before, Weglot is just will allow you to fully translate any kind of website in 2 minutes. And Lorenzo mentioned it in the introduction. You just have to copy and paste a small JavaScript snippet that is automatically generated by Weglot on your Webflow admin or Bubble admin or whatever other tool. So this is still code, but this is you don't have to write any code. This is all automated on our side. And it will allow you to translate 100% of your website, including all the titles, paragraphs, images, links, and everything, because it's very important for performances not to have different language on the same page, because Google doesn't like that at all. So that's why our tool will scan everything on your website and provide a translation for all the content without mixing the languages. So this was for the automatic translation generated by Weglot at first glance on your website. And on Weglot, you will also have a way to manually edit all your content thanks to a powerful editing tool that we call the dashboard. So it will be just reviewing and typing the translation that you want to modify, and it will be live modified on the website. And so it is pretty easy to do, but you can also benefit from more, let's say, advanced features to manage your translation and to display them on your website, and always with the goal to make your workflow as smooth as possible, internally or with your end customer. So these features are, for example, the glossary rules, allowing you to say, I always want to translate this word by this word, or I never want to translate this word because it is the name of my brand, for example. So these are the glossary rules. You can also exclude some part of your website that you don't want to translate. You have also a visual editor allowing you to have an in-context view of the website, even like a bit the same as you can have on Webflow, by seeing your website and being able to modify it just on the screen on the website in a live way, in pretty easy way. I know that you guys, if you are using Webflow, for example, you really like a nice design, nice animation, and everything. So you can do whatever you want with the language switcher on Weglot, and have a design that fits the content of the website. And this is as Webflow, for example, a pretty collaborative tool. So that's that can be very useful if you're working as an agency, and you can also even invite your customer. And in terms of structure, so I won't forget to mention that Weglot based the tool on the requirements told by Google in terms of multilingual SEO. So actually, that is based on 3 pillars, which are the hreflang tags that are very important to have on a website. And these hreflang tags are like allowing the Google bots to know like what is the path between this language and this language. And this is like pretty much to have on a website, and this is all automated by Weglot. There is no code behind it that you have to do. The second pillar is that you need to have unique URLs per language, rather by subdomains or subdirectories, if you want to have a website that will perform well in the different languages. And I mentioned as well before when I was talking about the Google Translate kind of button, you have to it's very important to have your translation in the code source of the website, not just visible for the user, but it has to be like in the code. For example, if you are browsing on an Italian website, it has to be in the code that it's in Italian. So yeah, we got allow you to do that, and all the translation are on the server side. So we save them in order to being able to display them on the code. So yeah, these are the 3 pillars that you have to keep in mind if you want to have a no-code website that is performing well in the different languages. So yeah, that was all the point that I wanted to mention. Maybe if we can go on the question part if you have some.
Wow, that was very interesting. Thanks to both. I'll let you know a little secret. I graduated a few years ago for my bachelor degree in translations.
Okay.
So I hope none of my former classmates were listening. Otherwise, they would be, angry. Just joking.
Well, no, actually, we really think here at Weglot, we are using like a machine translation a lot, but actually we completely think that there is like you can use actually manual and automatic translation. So we are still working with a lot of like a professional translator, even on Weglot.com, for example. We added like the Italian version of Weglot.com like 2 weeks ago, I guess. And we at first glance we released it in an automatic way, but for like SEO purpose and yeah, to add more context to the translation, we worked with an Italian professional translator. So yeah, actually we completely think that there is the best way to translate a website is to have a combination between automatic and professional translation, manual translation. I mean.
Yeah, I remember when I studied for like translation, I remember we talked a lot about like automatic translation tools. So it's as you're saying. Oh, shit. Someone was calling me. As we were saying, our teachers used to talk to us a lot about like translation tools and how they can help you go faster. So basically, oh fuck, just give me 1 second. Someone keeps calling me. and I cannot answer, of course. There we go. They should not call anymore. So yeah, that's very cool. Of course, I was joking. So basically, what you're saying is, Weglot can be a great kickstart, so it can help you start faster. But then a translator would get there and help like finish the job in a like professional way.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you have to see Weglot as just the tool that will allow your website to be multilingual and to perform well in different languages. And we provide a first layer of machine translation just to start with a clean basis, and then to work on the translation manually. So yeah, the goal is just to start from somewhere, actually, because you don't want to like it would be a nightmare to translate your website from A to Z just in one time. So we provide a first basis of translation that can be afterwards reviewed. And you can also use Weglot as, for example, if you, let's say, if you are running a new e-commerce store, still with shoes, for example, and you are like wondering how you can export, where you can export your products. Actually, you can add some different languages on your website with just automatic translation. And in a few weeks, you will start to see where you have traction, where there is an interest for your products in the different languages. And then you will be able, for example, to say, okay, I have to remove Portuguese, but I have to keep German, and I have to emphasis on German with someone speaking well German with context and everything, and that can be able to manually review all the content in German.
Oh, that's cool. So you're saying you can use like translation as a test to assess where it's going, like what they translate the most, and use analytics to understand what target. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Actually, we even just released a new feature on our dashboard. So this is basically the kind of a stat on which you have a map of the world with the different countries on which you can see, okay, I have X amount of view in Spain, X amount of view in India, or whatever. And the tool will let you know what are the language that you have to add on your website. Because you have viewers there, you have users in these countries. So if you want to improve the UX and your conversion, you have to translate your website into this language.
Okay, that's nice. I also liked the take that you had on what is actually Weglot. So I always thought that Weglot was the translation tool to make it faster, and partly that is. But from what you're saying, is more like we're not a translation tool. We are a kind of an infrastructure tool to give you like the proper structure to then have a multilingual website. So the core part is not the translation part, but the optimized structure for websites to be not compliant, but be optimized with like SEOs and all that stuff.
Exactly. Actually, we don't have any in-house translator. At the office, no one is a professional translator. This is mainly mainly developers and marketing and sales team and support team as well, which is very important. But yeah, we don't translate anything on our side, and we see it as everyone has his own job. So for example, we use and I see on the chat that Marco is asking if we developed our own neural machine translation system. So actually, we didn't yet develop our own neural machine translation system. We prefer to rely on someone who is doing it well. For example, DeepL for the main languages. So for the most common European languages, Weglot is using DeepL in order to provide machine translation. Then for less common pair of language, we are using as well Bing Translation or Google Translate, and we always base our the choice of the tool that we are using for machine translation depending on the pair of language. We always choose the one that our users are telling us that this is the good tool to to implement, to have the right language. So for example, if you tell me that if I want to Italian to Bulgarian, for example, translation, if you tell me, Lorenzo, that the best tool to do it is Bing Translation, I will rely on you because I don't speak Bulgarian or Italian. So I will change Weglot tool on Bing Translation, for example. So yeah, we always are trying to have the best quality of machine translation that we can provide, but we don't develop actually our own tool because everyone has his own specialized job, and our is to provide a optimized structure for multilingual websites.
That's so I guess it's not even on your plans to develop your own machine translation system.
Well, actually, it's not. We don't want to say that it's not on plan, because maybe one day we'll have X amount of content that will allow us to train an AI and maybe to develop a great AI to compete DeepL or whatever. But nowadays we are working with DeepL. But yeah, we don't want to say that we'll never do it.
Yeah, sure. So I have another question saying, using Weglot, what impact does it have on SEO?
Yeah, so basically, so as I mentioned on my presentation, when you integrate Weglot on the website, we'll automatically add all the structure that will allow the website to be visible in the different version of language on Google, for example. And the way it works, so when you integrate Weglot, so it will be all done on the code of the website, and then in a few days or week, depending on the reputation of your website, the Google bots will start to browse your code to see that there is actually a new path to go to a Spanish version, to see that there is a new content on it, that it is well structured in order to perform well. And in a few weeks, you will start to see your website in the different languages. So, for example, I don't have the numbers yet for the Italian version of our website, but I'm sure, right now, as I told you before, we added the Italian version on our website on Weglot.com I guess 3 weeks ago. So I think now we are starting to have more and more traffic. That's actually what happened, for example, when we added Japanese and German on our website. It was actually our main source of new business was because we added some translation on our website. I don't say because I want to sell Weglot. I say because that's true. We saw an increase on our traffic, and we have also some nice websites, nice brands that are experiencing the same impact. So yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So how do you what's your process for deciding what language to translate? So do you actually, as you said, test it before and then release it full blown, or you just say, I like that country, let's go for that country?
Well, actually, for Weglot, so as you know, our audience is made of website owners. So we are looking at where are the most website owners that are not speaking the language that we already have on our website. As you can imagine, the most of the web community is speaking English, so the most of traffic we have is in English. But yeah, then and then we also added French on it because we are French, and so we wanted to show how it works in French. But yeah, then actually we're trying to find the country that have a good amount of website owners and that has an interest for translating the website.
Okay, sounds great. So I have one last question for you. So how does it work for not how does it work, but what are your typical customers? I know that you can answer website owners, but what is your actual clientele? So is it huge websites, or it's more for startups, or is it specific for one target, or it's meant for everyone?
Yeah, so basically our main goal is to translate the the whole web. So 100% of the website on the web, we would like to translate them. But yeah, actually, you're right. We still have our like privileged customers. So I would say that the main like most of our users are from the e-commerce community. A lot of our users are using, for example, Shopify, BigCommerce, PrestaShop, WooCommerce, all these kind of technologies. Starting from the very basic like solopreneurs with a very small brand to big brands. For example, we are working with Nikon, with Steve Madden, with these kind of big brands that are transiting their website thanks to Weglot. But we are also working a lot with corporate websites and a lot of also with education websites, all the universities or schools that are willing to welcome new students from all around the world. They need to translate their website. But yeah, main of our in terms of technologies, I think it's mainly WordPress, because actually Weglot is pretty like similar to the actually World Wide Web. So most of the websites are done right now with WordPress. So most of our users are on WordPress. But yeah, then we're also working a lot with, as I said, like e-commerce solutions and no-code solution as well. The Webflow part is growing a lot. Software and other as well. But yeah, we don't really specify our customer, like we don't say that we just want enterprise clients or we want small clients. Actually, our support team is dealing even with free plan, like on a daily basis, because that's very important for us to be able to translate the whole web. But yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. So there's another question here. Does Weglot also translate dynamic content like blog posts on Webflow?
Okay, so yeah, if I getting the question right, so basically how Weglot is working, so we will take our bot will scan all the content that you have between tags, like paragraph tags or heading tags or whatever, and we'll scrap it, make it on push it on our dashboard, and we'll translate it. So basically, we are able to translate any kind of content, even including links, images, or whatever. And I guess in your point, you're mentioning maybe I don't know, homepage on which you have blog post styles, for example, on a website. So
yeah,
as long as the
I think he's saying dynamic content that is hosted on like a CMS, so that it can change, or yeah, it's not directly front end, but it goes from the CMS.
Okay, well, as long as the content is like visible on the code of the website, we will be able to translate it. Then there are some elements that we are not able to translate. For example, the iframes, as you may know, the content of an iframe is not visible, is not displayed on the source code of the website. So we won't, as we don't see it, we won't be able to translate it. But for other types of content, there is no issue to translate it.
Okay, sounds fair.
But yeah, just to mention that all the transactions are done on the front side and not on the back end. For example, on Webflow, it is all done on the front side.
Okay, yeah, that makes complete sense. Great. So Thibaut, I think we don't have any more questions. I want to thank you very, very much for being here and showing us what Weglot is and what is possible. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, sure. Likewise, it was a pleasure to chat with you. I hope that next time I will do it in Italian, but
yeah, maybe you can get some like fast classes and stuff so you can learn some Italian and we can have some conversation.
Yeah,
great.
for next year we'll do it.
Okay, that sounds great. Let me switch back for 1 second in Italian.
Yeah, sure.
Grazie a tutti per essere stati qui con noi. Ci vediamo domani sera per un altro appuntamento. Domani sera saremo con Key Reply per parlare delle differenze tra no code e low code. Quindi vi aspettiamo domani. Grazie a tutti. Grazie Thibaut. Thank you Thibaut. See you soon.
Very much.
Bye bye.
See you soon. Bye. Enjoy your week.